You can make six figures easy.
Straight out of school, I just started working.
Last year, our top tech, his W-2 was $119,000.
There's no automation in what I do. It's all done by me with my hands.
You can go to school for about $12,000, $13,000 and immediately graduate in 4 years be making $150K.
If you want to do it, go for it. Work on cars. There's not enough women that do it.
What did you do for work before you retired?
We ran a truck repair shop, an automotive shop,
Awesome. How long did you do that?
about 35 years.
Wonderful.
And I went to vocational school for auto, back then we called it auto mechanics, now it's technicians.
If you don't mind sharing, do you remember how much you made when you started versus when you retired and what that earning potential was like?
I can tell you last year, our top tech, his W-2 was $119,000. Most of our techs right now are in the 80 range.
Any advice that you would share after, 30 years in the industry, newcomers coming in, what would you tell them that has helped you get to where you are today?
It's education and staying on the edge of what's new.
What do you do for a living?
I work as an automotive technician. Been doing it for about 2 years now.
And how much are you making in your role?
In my role, I'm making about 32, 34 an hour.
And what's the highest earning potential in your industry?
As far as I know, among our team leads, it's sitting around in the 50s, mid 50s. And I'm fairly sure our foremans are paid more.
Any advice that you would recommend for those who are also interested in doing your work? Anything you would share?
I would definitely recommend trade schools. They do a good job of giving you theory and good hands-on. When I went to further on, more specialized schooling, it helped a lot. A lot of people have learned a lot on the job site. I've been able to progress a lot, do a lot of higher difficulty work because of my training.
You guys are both mechanics. How long have you been doing that?
About 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, going on 5 years. I started actually at the small shop that my father owns, and then ended up going to high school. So I did part-time in a trade school, part-time in a regular high school.
Cool.
And then while I was doing that, I did work study. So straight out of school, I just started working.
How much are y'all making in your roles today?
I make $17 an hour, but hopefully more when I go flat rate.
Yeah, what's that earning potential like after a few years? How much can you expect to make?
Mid-20s to lower 30s. It depends, really.
Yeah. And what about you?
Making about $17.75. It really depends on your skill level and what different licenses and certifications you have. So as you get that, you kind of go up the scale for money-wise.
What advice would you share with those who are also interested in becoming mechanics? Like, what has helped you get to where you are today?
I say if you want to go to a dealership, I'd say go to a school and then continue going to school once you're at the dealership, whatever they offer to go to.
Keep plugging away. Honestly, it's so hard when you're trying to tackle things and you feel like you need to know everything, but you don't because you're just starting off. So just keep pushing yourself and learning and take your time. Not everything's a rush.
What do you do for a living?
I own a dry ice media blasting company, basically detailing and restoring automotive undercarriages.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been in this for about 5.5 years now.
Nice. And do you mind sharing what the earning potential is like for that role, like maybe on a low end and a high end?
Your initial tool investment's about $100,000, and once you're up and running, your potential is upwards of $300,000-$400,000 a year.
Any advice that you would share with others who are watching that are interested in breaking into this role as well?
It's all about working hard and networking. It's not going to happen for free, and there's no automation in what I do. It's all done by me with my hands.
What do you do for a living?
I do window tinting, wrapping, and PPF.
Cool. How long have you been doing that?
I've been in business for almost 5 years now.
Nice. And how much are you making, or if you mind sharing a range?
It's a smaller business. We made about 170 last year.
What do you need to get into this?
It's just a trade, really. You don't have to have too much education. Just do what you like to do, and then everything else will fall in place.
What do you do for a living?
I sell steel tubing.
How long have you been doing that?
About 10 years.
Do you mind sharing how much you make or a range of what the earning potential is in your field?
North of 100,000, 120,000 a year if you're good at what you do.
Do you think that going to a trade school or a vocational school is necessary for the work that you do? For those who are listening, what path can they take?
It definitely helps. Trade schools are something that is very, very valuable. Not everybody needs to be a lawyer or a doctor or anything like that. There's plenty of money to be made in services and trades.
Yeah.
And also to be able to give yourself an education to be able to work with your own hands and be able to eventually work for yourself is something that I think everybody kind of aspires to.
Any advice for those who are listening who are not sure, what path they want to go on, especially in the trades? What advice would you share?
Just hustle, hustle, hustle. Don't ever quit, don't ever stop, and just keep working towards whatever your goals are.
We have fit Jeeps, mechanic work.
Cool. How long have you been doing that?
35 years. When I was really young, we didn't have a lot of money and my mom's car broke. So I tried to figure out how to fix it when I was 12, and I just was hooked from then on. I was like, I just want to fix stuff.
What is the earning potential like in your industry? Maybe a low to a high, highest earning potential versus what you start out at?
It's like an internship almost, right? So you're going to be 25, 30 grand a year sometimes.
Okay.
But if you become a really good flagging tech as a mechanic, you can make 6 figures easy. It's hard work, but just keep doing it because it's rewarding. I didn't go to a trade school. I do have people who went to trade schools working for me now.
Nice.
I see the benefit of both ways. If you're the person who needs the schooling and you benefit from a classroom environment, then go to the trade school. If you're a self-taught person who's just better at just learning by hands-on, then do it that way. So I'm for both ways. You just have to know what kind of a learner and you are.
What do you do for a living?
I work as an express technician, and I go to school at St. Philip's for automotive technology. Hopefully I'll be a master technician within the next 2 years.
Amazing. I was going to ask how long you've been doing it. So how long have you been in school?
I've been in school for like a year almost. And then I ended up going into the GM program, so it wasn't like original that I was involved with GM, but it definitely started out as just being in love with cars and wanting to start somewhere. So I was in a general program and then figured out specifically what I wanted and went for it.
How much do you make, if you don't mind me asking?
Right now I only make about 18 an hour, but it's definitely not bad. I have to work some days at the shop, and because I'm not like a full technician yet, I'm on hourly pay.
What's a master technician pay like?
Ooh, it's pretty good. I mean, I think it starts about at like $45 an hour, probably up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and you're like 2 years away from it.
Hopefully, if I work hard enough, yeah.
Any advice that you would share with others who are interested in your trade? What's helped you get to where you are today?
If you want to do it, go for it. Work on cars. There's not enough women that do it.
What do you do for a living?
So I am an automotive technician based out in San Antonio, Texas.
Cool. How long have you been doing that?
As a technician, been doing it for about 31 months. Started out as a porter. I've been with this company and the only company in the automotive field, and I've been working my way up ever since, and I'm a mainline technician there.
Love that. Mainline technician. How much were you making as a porter versus now?
So starting as a porter, the current wage when I first started was about $12 an hour, hourly. Right now, I am about $26 for a flat rate. I am a flat rate technician, so on average, probably about mid to high 50s, depending on a good year or a bad year.
What is the earning potential like after you've been in a couple years? How much do you think you'll be making towards the end of your career?
For my dealership, with all certifications, if you are a master diagnostics technician or MDT, you can make at least 40 an hour for your flag rate.
Any advice that you would share with those who are interested in your industry and working in the automotive trades? What's helped you get to where you are today?
Do your research on where you're trying to work. The right dealership does matter, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to be paying you. So you always want to make sure you do your research and make sure you're working for a good company.
What do you do for a living?
So I'm a GM ASAP instructor at St. Philip's College in San Antonio, Texas.
Cool. So you teach new up-and-coming trade workers.
Yeah, so I work with General Motors, and so all of our students, they work at the GM dealerships around San Antonio and the area, and they come to school.
How long have you been doing that?
So I've been doing it for about 7 years. Went through the program myself, graduated, worked at the dealership for about 15 years, came back, and now I teach the next generation of technicians. So
I love that. You're like paying it forward to them. Do you remember how much you made when you started versus when you left?
I have several of my students that are graduated right now and working in the field after 4 years of graduating, and they're making close to 150K.
Wow.
So when I left, I was only making like about 100K maybe, but now they're making like 150, 160K now, so it's really good.
What advice would you share to new up-and-coming students or potential, trade workers? Should they go to school?
Well, everybody should go to school, right? You're never done learning. It's just don't get wrapped up in the whole 4-year, I need to go to a 4-year university. Tech schools, training schools, stuff like that. The ASAP program, all of our programs have where you get an Associates of Applied Science degree. It's a 2-year associate's degree, but it's in the technical field, and there's no reason to not look into the technical field. Really, the high schools need to start looking at that technical field because our debt to income ratio is very low. We can go to school from our college, you can go to school for about $12,000, $13,000 and immediately graduate in 4 years be making 150K. So like your debt to income ratio is very small. If you like working on cars and you like taking things apart and things like that, then the automotive field's where to go.
If you want to learn more about automotive career opportunities just like these, head to www.napaonline.com/tools of the trade to learn more.